So unfortunately, we do not have a Scott Snyder interview for you guys this episode. He said this weekend was a bit rough for him, you know, was a little busy. However, he did suggest maybe during next week or next weekend, so it's not over. So in the meantime, hopefully you guys will enjoy this episode of comics we have prepared for you guys this President's Day weekend. It's Richard here. Welcome to a brand new episode of Comics. I broke some glasses with that voice, didn't I? That's power. So like I said, we do not have a Scott Snyder interview for you guys this week. However, we do have a lot of awesome stuff to talk about. So let's shift it over to Carter, who's going to give you some awesome Marvel news.
Hello everybody, thank you Richard. So sorry this episode is up a little bit late. As you know, it's Mardi Gras down here in New Orleans, so there's all sorts of stuff going on. Sorry about that, but we're here. Let's talk about some awesome Marvel stuff. I'm going to be giving you 2 reviews today. The first review is of a new series called Winter Soldier. As most of you know, Winter Soldier is actually Bucky Barnes, and so now he's starring in his own series. A lot of people thought he died after Fear Itself. It was a hoax so that he could actually resume his role as the Winter Soldier, and people would not know that he's living, so they would not know to expect him. They revealed that he was living in a 7.1 Fear Itself. It stars Bucky Barnes and the Black Widow, because they are dating. I am thoroughly enjoying this book. It's also written by Ed Brubaker, and it's very espionage. Like, I keep expecting all of a sudden him to go, the name's Barnes. James Barnes. It's a good read. I definitely suggest picking it up if you like that whole kind of espionage type thing. I would give it, personally, about a 4 out of 5. It's not, you know, my favorite series in the world. It's not the one that I most look forward to getting every week, but it's definitely a very fun read. I enjoy it.
Thank you so much, Carter. Now, as Carter said, he did have 2 reviews planned. However, his camera died, so he didn't get to tell you about the second thing, which was the Deadpool comic. But he did ask me to tell you that he gave that book a 3 out of 5, so there's that. So on the DC Comics side of things, I'm going to be reviewing for you guys Batman #6 by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. What? So for those of you who have no idea what happened in the last issue, Batman basically got fucked up. There's no other way to describe it, so the beep had to happen. And you know, throughout the course of this run that Scott and Greg Capullo have been doing, we've seen a lot of things happen to Batman that we don't normally see. You know, first we saw Batman was wrong about the Court of Owls, which is crazy. And then in the last issue, we basically saw Batman get mentally and physically jacked up. Now, even though we've been seeing things happen to Batman that we don't normally see, in issue 6, we see the Batman that we know and love. Also, what I really like about this issue is we see a little bit more of this Court of Owls. You know, they've been a mystery up to this point. You know, what else can I say about Scott Snyder's run on Batman that I haven't already said? It's awesome. This guy is the king of Batman. What else can I say? And Greg Capullo, I don't talk about him as much, sadly, but his artwork on this book is beyond fantastic. My favorite piece of art in this book is this really awesome page where Batman just screams, "Enough!" and he looks like this big monster. It's awesome. It is an amazing issue. It's totally worth your time. 4.5 out of 5. Anyways, now it's time for the greatest segment on the show, Comics Comments! You know, throughout the course of this show, every time I scream Comics Comments, it sounds less and less like I'm actually saying Comics Comments. Up at this point, it's just starting to sound like Comics Comments! It sounds like a high-pitched Batman voice. You just can't understand what I'm saying because my voice is way too gravelly. Anyways, for this week's Comics Comments, in celebration of President's Day, I thought I'd talk about the trailer for Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's not a comic book movie. It's not based on a comic book. I know this, but it looks like it should be. I'm sure you guys agree with this. The idea based around this film is ridiculous. But regardless of how ridiculous the idea is, the trailer just looks awesome. The director of this film, who also directed Wanted, which was an equally ridiculous looking movie, he has this tendency to, you know, make films that look so ridiculous but turn out so awesome. Like Wanted, I love Wanted. And I think he'll do the same thing with Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. It just looks ridiculous, but it looks ridiculously awesome. So all in all, I'm really excited to see Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. If you haven't seen the trailer, I'll put a link down below. So in the comment section below, tell me, what do you think of the Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter trailer? Anyways, that's about it for Carter and myself. Don't forget to like this video, follow Carter on Facebook, Twitter, and DirectorsCutRadio.com. Links down below. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, favorite the video if you want to, and we'll see you guys next weekend with hopefully a Scott Snyder interview, and if not, another awesome episode of comics.